Oh, she's known as the Martha Stewart of marijuana. She juices it, she tosses it into the salad, even throws marijuana-themed dinners. Cheryl Shuman says that she was near death, and marijuana helped her survive the pain of ovarian cancer. So she turned her love for pot into a booming million-dollar business. She's joining me live out of Los Angeles. All right, Cheryl, you are called the Martha Stewart of marijuana. How the heck did that come about?
Well, in 2006, I was diagnosed with cancer after working in the corporate world and film and entertainment for 25 years. And, you know, when you get cancer, and I think that's something that everyone across the country can relate to, everyone's been touched by cancer at some point in their life. So I looked to cannabis, medical cannabis, as an alternative treatment. I was literally in hospice care. The doctors had given up on me, had asked me to basically tie up my loose ends and get ready to die. So a friend of mine from high school started visiting me in the hospital and said, if you're going to die, you're at least going to die with a smile on your face. And that's when I started learning about cannabis, not only for chemo and radiation, but also juicing cannabis, eating it, because I have a liver disorder as well. The cancer metastasized to my liver. And it took me, cannabis therapy took me from being bedridden and in hospice care on 27 pharmaceuticals and an intravenous morphine pump to within 90 days being able to go back to work full time, shower by myself, eat by myself, and have a substantially better quality of life. So when that happened, I really wanted my children to be proud of me and my family to be proud of me, and I decided to come out of the closet and be what I hope is a good role model and example for corporate women and professional women to use cannabis as a modern cannabis consumer.
Okay, all right, so hold that thought. Okay, because I hear your story, I see the pictures, and I think, oh my God, you know, I mean, praise the higher gods there that you survived and you made it. But now let's just take a look at the business that you have. And I know it's making you millions of dollars. I'm reading through. You're developing this reality show. You sell vaporizers. You've got medicated chocolates, branded ashtrays, as you see by all her props here, cannabis cooking oils. You're even working on a cooking cannabis DVD. Okay, I know there's people out there, all right? Yeah, looking at this stuff going, Cheryl, you are just a glorified stoner making a lot of money, okay? What do you say to those people?
Well, you know something, I really kind of have to smile and laugh at that because I grew up in Appalachia in the Bible Belt, and I'm one of those goody two-shoes girls that I've never smoked a cigarette, I've never done cocaine or any kind of drugs, and cancer changed my life. So that's one of the reasons it was really important for me to come out and educate. You know, to this day, I'm very proud to say that I don't smoke, I don't drink, I don't use drugs of any kind other than cannabis. So, and it works for me.
You've got two daughters, right? One's joined with you in the business. Do they smoke marijuana?
Yes, I have two absolutely gorgeous, successful, well-balanced, grown daughters, and one of them is in psychology school right now and is a business partner of mine. We work together. She's the executive vice president of my company, and my other daughter. And here's the thing. Both of them are great, amazing young women, but neither one of them use cannabis themselves personally. They're shining examples of, I think, amazing young women in society.
Do you worry about maybe being around all of this and seeing how much money it makes that, you know, they'd be tempted to use it in the wrong way?
No, I really don't, because to me, it's all about being honest with our children. You know, my children are grown, so it's a little bit different, but I really believe that cannabis today, it's something that we need to educate people about. The cannabis that I use, for example, is completely non-psychoactive. It doesn't get you high. It's specifically for anti-tumor growth and for digestion issues that I have. So absolutely not. I don't worry about my children at all. They're amazingly balanced, charming, successful young women, and I'm extremely proud of them.
We're talking to Cheryl Shuman there. As you can imagine, Cheryl, all kinds of people wanting to know more about your Beverly Hills Cannabis Club. But you said something interesting, and Dr. Drew, this is where I want to bring you in, is that I had no idea that you were able to get marijuana that doesn't give you a high. I always thought pot was pot.
Is that for Cheryl?
No, it's for you, Doc.
Oh, there are cannabis receptors throughout our body, and they're slightly different. So you can isolate gut cannabis receptors versus the various receptors in the central nervous system. But here's the deal about Cheryl's story. It's a great example of how irrational our drug policies are. Here is a medication, a substance that helped this woman, stimulated her appetite, treated her pain. Fantastic. Doctors should be able to use these things as they please. Why is that intervention somehow inferior to morphine sulfate? It's bizarre how we think about these drugs. Now, that doesn't mean I don't have concerns about it, but it's time for us to be much more rational about this medication.
So you started this Beverly Hills Cannabis Club, Cheryl. It's an invite only. what happens at these events?
Well, we have a gardening collective, so we have a farm up north, and that's open to any members of the collective. We have about 100 full members and about 1,000 internet members, so they can come and work in the garden. We all split the gardening costs, and then we do mansion and cannabis tasting parties for our members. So everyone is screened. It's a very intimate group. Most of the people who are involved in my group are celebrities, producers, high-profile individuals that can't really go to a storefront dispensary because of, you know, TMZ and the Inquirer and that sort of thing. So we value their privacy, and we treat them really well, and we take good care of them, and it's a really wonderful, amazing group of people.
And you actually consult Hollywood. If they're talking about the use of medical marijuana, you go to the set and tell them how to do it properly, right?
Yes, one of the things you'll see in a lot of TV and film projects right now is everyone's talking about cannabis, and I'm very proud of my work on the show Wilfred with Elijah Wood and Jason Gann. It's about a pot-smoking dog, and Elijah, of course, is a legal medical marijuana patient, and this is my 3rd season on the show. So a lot of TV shows and film companies, they hire me as their marijuana expert for $500 an hour, and I go in and make sure that everything is authentic with real products, with real cannabis, and with the real vaporizers and chocolates and stuff that we put in those shows. So what you're going to see coming up is product placement for marijuana, and no one's ever done product placement for marijuana in film before, and that's one of the things that my company does.
Okay.
We also work with over 1,700 dispensaries all across the country, providing them with stash jars.
Are you
and
a dispensary? That's my question. Where are the physicians doing the evaluation saying that this person needs a prescription for marijuana that you then dispense?
All of our members of the Beverly Hills Cannabis Club, they all have their own individual MDs. We do not have our own MDs that are on staff with us, but we have a gardening model where literally we all get together at the garden and we work the garden together. There's no storefronts whatsoever.
Tell you what, times have changed
however,
in 2013.
that being said,
Boy, haven't they?
well, one of the things that you'll see is with the chefs that I'm working with right now, for example, Chef David Chanel's, he's the executive chef of La Dolce Vita here in Beverly Hills. And what I'm looking into, I've got an investor that's interested in investing $10 million to do these private dining clubs and vaping lounges for the Beverly Hills Cannabis Club in states where recreational cannabis is legal.
I was going to say, this is where
Washington.
But Colorado and Washington would be a really interesting case example. I'm worried we're going to have big cannabis just the way we have big tobacco. The tobacco companies are going to get in, those kinds of companies are going to get into cannabis, and we're going to have big cannabis marketing all over the place. And that's one of the grave concerns about what could happen in Colorado and Washington.
Well, it's fascinating. We're going to follow it. I mean, Cheryl... Cheryl's
marijuana is here already.
Yeah, and you have cashed in on it for sure.
It sounds like it's all organic, too.
Yes, it's healthy. Cheryl, appreciate it. Pretty interesting conversation today, for sure.